I do want to say this is the first time I've seen my beard today, and I think it looks on point.
I agree. I was actually going to comment on your hair. Like, just in general, your hair has looked real nice.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Billy,
you said
go ahead. Also compliment me.
I think your ego seems quite healthy tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, also, I also wanted to ask, before we get started, why did you guys choose the background that you chose?
Because it was the only one left of the new ones that had not been chosen.
And how about you, Billy?
It looked the sharpest around the edges and made me look like a hacker.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I picked this one because I've been told that I could pull off a mushroom hat.
Welcome to 3Play, where three friends playing and podcasting about games, and we're just one short of a good time.
Welcome to 3Play Podcast. Today, we're going to start with a little bit of a different minigame. Jordan's been doing an amazing job.
And I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fair. It's a lot of work to put those together.
I have done an amazing job.
You've done a job. No, it's been really good. But you're just, again, your ego is...
I know.
I just want to bring it down a little bit.
All right.
So that you're the relatable one. You have to be the relatable one.
No. Brean is the relatable one on the podcast.
But I'm the one that always has off-the-wall games that I refer to that nobody else gets.
Yeah, Brean's the one that said that some gamers aren't real gamers.
I am the one who was gatekeeping people, yes.
Okay.
And I'm the one people don't like, so you have to be like the relatable one.
How do I be relatable? I don't know how to do that though. What's your advice to me to be relatable?
Don't brag about your hair.
Okay.
Oh, but say things like on point. It's relatable to like have a day when you're like, yep, that's on point today.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are those occasional days.
I'm just saying, it's rare for me to have a day where I look at my face and I go, man, I look on point today.
Yeah, no.
Every other day I look at my face and go, oh.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's... Yeah.
Yeah. Celebrate that. Today is that day. Put it on your calendar.
Today is the day.
The one day you get.
Congratulations to those of you who are viewing this on YouTube. You get to see me when I am on point.
Yes.
I'd still encourage everybody to listen to this as a podcast. Nothing about the video format it doesn't bring anything extra to the table from any of us. And you can listen to it on your way to work, right? That's true. What podcasts are for.
That's true. Yeah, listen to whichever way you prefer. But you can go and look at us if you wish. Just so
Now, mini games. Brean, you have one today.
Yeah, I do. So I've really liked the sound ones a lot. And true to form, I take something good and I think about it in a weird way. And then I make it more terrible. And we see if it works. So
not relatable. That is not relatable.
Yes, completely not relatable. So I have taken this concept of listening to sounds and picking out what game it is. And I said, what are some distinctive sounds in games? And I said, let's try this with menu noises. The little noises that happen when you switch your cursor to select something else or you hit the button on it and it makes a noise in a game. I have always been fascinated by how does a sound designer pick that out? Okay. So I have recorded
6 menus from Final Fantasy 4 through 9 or whatever.
Yeah.
No. So I picked
6
games
JRPGs.
I have picked games that you are going to know an equal number of them. You both won't necessarily get all of them. But
so
you definitely
2.5 JRPGs.
I'm going to get all of them. I'm going to be
happy if I get one. I feel this is going to be tougher than, I don't know, than everything else we've done.
I feel like this is going to be surprising.
You might be right.
Sure.
I'm on point today, guys. I'm getting all of them.
No, right. Jordan, your hair is on point today. All right,
let's get started.
Here we go.
So menu sound number 1 sounds like this.
Oh. I'm going to be honest. I don't feel on point anymore.
How you feeling about that one, Billy?
100%.
Really?
100%.
I'm going to take a guess.
This was a gift from Brean to me.
It was,
I don't
yes.
think it's right.
Yeah.
All right.
I gave
well,
each
that
of
changes
you a
my
gift in
guess.
this one.
That changes my guess.
Oh yeah, that's not fair.
Oh.
I gave you a huge hint.
Okay,
You gotta
well,
go with your first guess.
but I was torn. I will tell when we go through the answers. I will tell you what my first guess was.
Sure. Okay.
And
What were you
then
thinking?
What I changed it to.
Oh yeah, no, we're not doing that yet. Okay.
Great. Okay. So now we're on to menu sound number 2.
Got it.
That's
figured
actually
this
not
one-
what I thought it was first.
I figured this one would be pretty easy. That last noise is what really clinches it for me, at least, listening to it.
Like this one's interesting because initially I thought this is a different game. And
Now I'm second guessing myself
then I think the noises after the initial noises gave it to me.
it was the middle sound that got it for me. The boom that is drawing me in.
We'll see.
All right. Menu sound number 3.
I gotta click it. Hold on.
Man, you only gave us 2 different sounds there.
Oh,
There are
hold on.
only 2 sounds in this one.
Hold on. Oh, this is horrible.
Yeah, it's tickling.
Well, and the reason this is horrible is because I know, like, the rate at which it's playing the sounds, like, you can tell there's, like, a scroll happening. And so I'm, like, trying to, like...
I think you're the
It's like...
select, select. Like that's, you got 2 sounds, movement and select, like choosing a thing.
Oh my gosh, this is so hard.
I think I have a guess for that one. So it's...
Honestly, listening to this one, the sound designers in this game did a really good job of matching the feel of the game to the sound. I'm impressed with it, honestly.
I don't think I can get it. I'm gonna feel
I
very
have
stupid.
a guess. I have a guess for that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a guess, but I think I'm gonna be way off. Hold on, I can't even think of a guess.
Just pick a game that Brean likes.
Okay. Picked a game that Brean likes. Good idea.
All right, menu sound number 4.
I mean, that's I know, like, freaking frick.
What?
Yeah, no, you're going to say that and it's going to be like, oh man, I remember I played that when I was a kid for like a weekend because I rented it from Blockbuster. Like, I think that's what's going on there.
I'm gonna be way off, but this one I feel like I at least am in the realm, but I'm not sure if.
I have no idea for that.
All right, last one. Menu sound number 5.
This I have to play it again.
I wasn't necessarily navigating to anywhere specific, so if you're looking for a clue there, I don't think you'll find it.
I'm gonna be upset if my earlier guess is this game.
All right. So, I mean, how confident are you guys feeling in these?
Not at all. I'm gonna be honest. I feel not at all confident.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got...
I want to say I never want to be on this side of the trivia game ever again.
That's great.
Ever.
This is the only side I want to be on. I'll feel foolish if it means
I'm going to feel foolish the whole time.
Less pre-recording work.
Less prep.
That's a good word for it.
It's honestly fun to put the games together, Billy.
I do believe that. Maybe someday. I'll
One day.
get an intro. One day. I'll
One
take
day.
the reins.
That's what we call a tease on the podcast. One day we will get Billy's intro game, and it will be
One day.
glorious.
Is that my role on the podcast?
What? A tease?
Am I the tease?
You're the one everyone loves to hate and the T's all in one.
I mean, that matches up. That matches up.
I don't know why you're moving your eyebrows like that. You just told everybody to listen to the podcast form.
That was
the YouTube form.
That was for you two.
Oh,
and only you two.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
All right.
Appreciate it. All right, so let's go through
Let's get these answers.
Yep.
So menu sound number 1. Let's listen to that again real quick.
Hey, let me reacclimate.
Yep.
All right. Billy's pretty confident in this one. Jordan, you want to take your guess first?
All right. So my original guess before Billy's hint was that this was the Game Boy Tennis, like Game Boy, like Mario Tennis. But after Billy's hint, I switched it to Mega Man 2.
Wrong.
You're on the right track. Billy, what did you guess?
I guessed Mega Man X.
Yes, indeed, it was.
Okay, Mega Man 2, Mega Man X.
It was the first Mega Man X game.
Sorry. Actually, Mega Man and Mega Man X
are different
characters. 2 distinctly different characters, created hundreds, if not thousands of years apart. Mega Man was created by Dr. Light?
White?
Why are you saying that with a question? If you're the expert.
Well, because now I don't remember. I know X was created by Dr. Light because you find the power-up capsules. And it's Dr. Light talking. He's like, hey, listen, I made you, and you needed to go into hibernation so you didn't get infected by the Reploid virus, which is what I made you to destroy.
I just want you to know that when I say Mega Man 2 and Brean says it's Mega Man X, that's exactly the same feeling as when you say Secret of Mana and the answer is Final Fantasy 9.
Sure, okay. That's fair.
All right, menu sound number 2.
I know the collection of games that this harks from.
Do you?
Yeah, for sure.
I wanna hear what Billy's guess is.
Yeah, no,
go ahead.
I thought Billy was super. Okay, go ahead, Billy. What is it?
I think it's from a Resident Evil game, right?
That was my initial thought because of the because it sounds the same. This is Elden Ring.
It is Elden Ring.
Really?
Yeah.
This is Elden Ring.
Yep.
Just the boom. Yeah, that's the thing that gave it away. Because initially, Billy, I was on the exact same thought process as you. I heard the and it sounds like kind of like the typewriter like movement.
It does.
So that sound effect is very, very similar to like a Resident Evil. So that is very interesting to me because we were both on that same page of my first initial thought was Resident Evil 2. This is Resident Evil 2. But then the brong and the like that brought me back.
Let me listen to that again. Wow, that's Elden Ring.
Yeah,
it is.
But I wonder if I'm actually wondering if they stole Resident Evil's menu tick now. Is From Software a bunch of, copyright infringers?
I mean, it could just be that, right? I mean, we could start talking about like regional consistencies between developers, right? That like Capcom, I think Capcom and they're both out of Japan, right? Isn't Capcom out of Japan? I think so.
I think so.
Capcom is, I'm pretty sure.
So maybe it's just some regional thing where it's like, oh, there's these sounds that sound developers in Japan tend towards more. Because man, I would have bet money that was from a Resident Evil game. That's nuts.
And I agree with you. It sounded like that at first. All right, let's go to 3.
All right,
all
number
right.
3.
I'm so wrong. I'm so I just hate my guess because it's not right.
I just remembered.
I
know what
so
this is
familiar. I've played this. I know I have because I know these menu sounds.
Yeah. You're gonna hate yourself.
Billy has his. I guessed a game that Brean likes. So I just said Chrono Trigger, but I know that's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan, it's a little sus that you don't know what game it is.
Oh no!
It is a little sus because it's Among Us.
Immediately after you say that, like, yep. Dang it!
I only just got that right there listening to it again. That's weird. Wow.
See, this is one of what I was hoping would happen. Is it like you don't expect to know these things, but like they do.
But you
stick.
do. They're in there somewhere, right?
Yep.
It's just trying to navigate your brain pathway to actually get to it, right?
Yep.
Without the because you've taken the visual context of it away, right?
What's going on that like I have 130 hours in Elden Ring. Now granted, maybe 10 minutes of that is spent on the menu. But like why can't I get that? But I can get like Among Us, which I played, like we played for like 2 months.
We played casually for a while. Yeah.
I guess you're just in the menu more, or you're hearing those sounds probably more with Among Us.
Because I think those sounds get reused within
and
games.
The other thing
that's
with
true.
Among Us, I think the thing that sticks out to me now too is because Among Us now has the menu like within the game when you go to like the airship level and you pick, and those are the sound effects, right?
Yeah,
you're
hearing that in game.
Yeah. So, all right,
menu sound number 4.
Man, we're only on number 4.
That.
No, I have no idea.
I feel like I'm gonna know this too. The
Wait.
musical notes are getting me. The musical notes are the part that are throwing me off, like the boom 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 boom.
I mean, is this from like the Super Nintendo era?
Yeah, give me an era.
Or like
I'm using my era lifeline.
Okay.
Give me the era.
Like console, era console.
My guess was this was a 64 game.
So this was released in 2007.
Oh, I'm off.
That's like
I'm well
GameCube,
off.
right?
Boom 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 boom.
All right, give me 2 minutes. I just need to look up a list of games.
GameCube game. Stop it. All right. Well, all right. My initial guess was Banjo-Kazooie, so I do think it's something Nintendo. I'm gonna guess Beautiful Joe, because that's a Nintendo game that I can think of right now.
I'm gonna guess Wii Sports, because that was the #1 ranked game released in 2007.
No. So I have to admit to you both that I have trolled you a little bit here. And this is from the game that you clearly both know, Peggle, made by PopCap Games. It's a puzzle casual game where you bounce a ball down a bunch of pegs to try and clear them all.
Look,
a game called Peggle.
I just want to know, Peggo or Peggle?
Peggle.
Peggle. I just want all of our... I just want
Peggle
all of our
or
viewers to
Peggle
know.
Extreme.
Peggle Deluxe is what this was.
Oh, Peggle Deluxe.
I
This
just
is
want
garbage.
I just want all of our viewers to know that if you're one of the people who got Peggle, I don't want you to feel proud of yourself. I want you to get out of here. Get out of this podcast.
Yeah. Oh, that's what wait, Jordan, you are becoming me.
This is what being on this side of the trivia game does to you. You turn into Billy.
But I was already like this before the trivia games. I guess, you were just becoming like me. No, that's actually the joke I was going to make, Jordan, was that if you guessed Peggle and that you've spent time in your life playing Peggle, get the hell out of here.
Brean, you can stay. But that's because we need you.
Wait, have you played this, Brean?
Yes. This is a game that me and my wife would play casually, just like we'd throw it up on the TV and then we'd, hand the controller back and forth. And it's a game of chance. It's a fun little thing. You get power-ups. It makes cool noises.
Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum.
Yep.
All right.
All right. And then menu sound number 5.
Somebody in here still calls himself a gamer.
No, it's that one. All right. All right.
You got it, Jordan?
I think so.
All right. I don't know. Final Fantasy 9 or some other JRPG. I think this is the JRPG.
I think it's 7.
Billy is correct.
No, I actually had it on 9 and then I changed it to 7. I had 9 and then I changed it to 7. Dang. Bummer.
Well done, Billy. Billy got the
That's
JRPG.
Right.
Billy
That's
is
right.
JRPG champion.
That's why I belong on this side.
Stay tuned for Billy's least favorite JRPGs coming to the YouTube channel.
It is going to happen. Actually, I have a list and reasons. Here's the problem, though, is that, like, right, it's going to be mostly tongue-in-cheek, because just, like, I haven't played a ton of I've played some JRPGs, and I do like some.
All right, well, what JRPGs have you played that you like? Hit me with that first.
Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Like, as a kid, I played that, and that was fun.
And Chrono Trigger. I played Chrono
I
Trigger.
played some of, what was the Final Fantasy with the lightning? Was that 12 or 13? That was the girl's name, right?
Yeah, lightning.
She's like on a train.
Yeah.
That game sucked. That
is notoriously the worst Final Fantasy.
It generally regarded as
the worst.
Yes.
One of, yeah. It depends on who you ask, right?
Is Harvest Moon a JRPG?
I don't think so. I think that's more a farming simulator.
Why can't it be both?
I think it has some JRPG elements, but it's got no leveling. So, like, that's a pretty big...
my axe or my hammer
or my
well,
shovel.
Then would Legend of Zelda be a JRPG?
No, because it has a succinct plot that keeps you engaged for the majority of the game.
Oh my gosh. Oh my.
You actually get to do things in it other than menu select spells.
So speaking of Final Fantasy, there have been movies made in addition to the games, right? At least 3 that I know of, if not more. I think there's even some animes too. In fact, I know there's at least 1.
Name the 3 you know, and I'll name the 3 I know.
Phantom
of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera. What is that one called?
It's Phantom
Spirits
Menace.
Within.
Sorry, it's Phantom Menace.
Spirits Within.
Spirits Within.
Yes, Spirits Within, yes.
The Final Fantasy VII one, which I can't remember. Advent Children.
Advent Children.
And then...
Was that the sequel to Advent
Kingslayer?
Kingslayer.
Those are the 3 I know as well.
Okay.
There's also an anime I remember that I watched as a kid, where they had a crystal and there was a chocobo at one time.
Wow.
A chocobo, I mean. And
I've heard both ways.
Yep.
So anyway, today on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about video game adaptations. And what makes them good and what makes them bad.
Man,
mostly bad.
Yeah, I was going to say the list for good is pretty short.
Yeah, maybe we should start there. Like, what are the good ones?
Well, so in preparation for this podcast, I watched all of Arcane.
Did you? That's the League of Legends show on Netflix.
Yes.
Okay, and like a little bit of just like orientation for our non-gamer friends. League of Legends is a game. It's a MOBA, a multiplayer online battle arena, right? Basically 2 teams and you fight on a map to get to the other's base and blow it up.
And to me, this seems like something that has no basis to be made into a show, because what plot does that have?
So I will say that one of my brothers, Josh, shout out to Josh, longtime listener. I check in with him consult him on some things, like the Elden Ring video. I wanted his opinion because he is real good with memes and so forth. So he read the lore on each of the characters. So like the characters have like a bio page, and he would read all of that, and he like figured out which ones are connected to what, and like they have this whole backstory and this plot building that goes on within the game. So this actually gets right into my main thought for this episode, which is I think what Arcane does really well with it is lets the game do what the game does well, which is world building. The game doesn't do like it creates some interesting characters, maybe,
right.
But it doesn't do plot and it doesn't do storytelling well, but it does world building well. There's
I have no idea.
What is it? What's it called? Anyway, in League of Legends, like some of the items, they're like a mixture of this mechanical and magical stuff. So, and it has a particular
There's so many League of Legends fans, if they're listening to this, who are just screaming right now.
I'm sure.
They're not listening. League of Legends players aren't listening to us. They're queuing up for their 14th match of the day, or they're 20 minutes into it and they're like, oh man, we're getting our butts kicked. I gotta surrender. And now I'm down to silver and I hate my life, but if I just win 2 today, I'll be back to where I started this morning.
How well does the Netflix show capture that feeling?
Not at all.
Okay.
It ignores that completely. So what I think it takes, and we'll see if this holds up with some of our other examples, but what I think it takes is the show or the movie, the adaptation needs to use the world building that the game creates and then tell its own story with that in a way that actually makes sense for a movie or a TV show medium. If it just tries to adapt the game to a TV or movie, it just doesn't tend to go as well.
We're going to have, I think, a lot of really different examples because games have super varying levels of narrative, right?
Sure.
And League of Legends, aka League, aka LOL, is super light on narrative, right? You enter a game and it's all right, I'm picking my hero that fits with this team or champion or buddy or prefect or whatever you call them. And we're going up against the other team. You queue into a match, it's 5-on-5, and you're just action. There's no story. There's maybe funny voice lines and stuff, but you're just fighting this sort of top-down style.
Right.
Whereas I know we're going to talk about movies tonight where it's movies or TV shows where it's this is a game adapted from a novel that was made into a TV show, and all of them are really good. So there's a lot more narrative or lore or plot to draw from. So it's interesting that we start with League of Legends, which has no real.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, League of Legends started from Warcraft.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft 3 custom game modes, and League sort of took that idea and said, we can make a game about this, and just made a bunch of random characters, and here we are. The narrative has never been the focal point, and now it's just interesting, right? They're expanding their brand by creating a narrative around this sort of world that's been built up over 10 years. So it's interesting.
I don't know if you can just do what Brean said though, and just take an existing world and make your own story.
Yeah, and
expect that to be a successful movie or adaptation.
Sure, I think you have to do it well. I'm certain that the team who crafted the story and the characters they put work into it, obviously. Right. Not that I'm not saying the people who made these other movies we're going to talk about later that were terrible didn't put work into it, but you have to be skillful at the other things too. I'm just saying for it to be a successful.
So what makes so I'm assuming from what you're saying that Arcane you think is a successful adaptation, even though you've never played a game of League of Legends.
Oh, I've played a lot of League of Legends, actually.
Oh, you have?
But yeah. Quite a bit.
Then why are we talking about League of Legends, Billy? Talking about League of Legends.
Yeah, I don't know. I know about it. I played maybe a total of 3 games.
Well, I've never played Heroes of the Storm, but I would imagine it's it's the same thing. Because I would agree. When you play League of Legends, you would have no idea that there's a plot to this stuff. You just pick your hero, jump in a game, and play.
Well, and so Brean, maybe here's a question to ask: do you think Arcane would be a fun or worthwhile show and story if it was all original IP? If it was not connected to League of Legends?
Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
It stands on its own.
It does.
So
you think
me never having played a single game of League of Legends, I could jump into Arcane and enjoy that show?
Yes. Okay. I think you won't get some of the references, but you don't need to get some of the references in order to enjoy the show.
Okay.
Sure, one of the characters, I read they say a line they're fighting some enemy and they, smoke them and then they're just GG loser, get good mood. And so if you haven't played League, you might not get that.
Bad game.
Yeah, BG, bad game.
BG, bad game.
And every every
Uninstall.
Brean, I think I know I could probably guess to the answer to this, but like, why did you, because you don't play League anymore.
No. Yeah.
Why not?
So I started playing it when it was first out. And,
Back in 1995.
Yeah. Way back.
no, it was after that, wasn't it? It had to have been after 2003.
Yes, it's well after 1995.
Okay. Right. I was about to be like, what? I'm so old.
Yeah.
No. So, and so everyone was learning it. So no one was good at it. And there wasn't like, so we were all learning the game together and no one was raging about people sucking. And so,
man, what a time that must have been.
It was a good time because me and my siblings, the thing that we love to do is like test things out and try dumb stuff to see if something crazy is going to work. And so every game we played, we like occasionally we would run into something where it was like absolutely amazing build. We're like, great, this works, cool. And then but most of the time it was just like, this really sucks. And our team lost because I got 0 kills or whatever. But like, no one cared because everyone was figuring it out.
Right.
But fast forward a year. And
I don't think that would happen today, though. I think if you took League of Legends, released it today, right? I think the toxicity is there from day 2 or 3. I think we've reached a point where toxicity has injected itself into games, and it's especially like multiplayer games like that, and it's going to be there.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, Jordan.
Well, it's built upon once the meta is decided. That's when the toxicity starts. Sure. Because then there are expectations. Or when you have
with like ranked play and things like that, right? Like, oh, you're playing something suboptimal and I'm angry because I want to win because I need to get my sticky Dorito fingers on a higher ranking today than what I had yesterday so that I can be a pro.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love how you have taken so many shots at ranked MOBA players in the last 10 minutes.
It's fine. They're easy to take.
Yeah, it's true. So, okay. So we've got a good video game adaptation in Arcane, right? And Brean is saying one of the ways that we can do that is with successful world building, right?
Yep.
But there has to be that good element of like, there has to be a good story here. And I think for me, that's where I think video games struggle to be adapted because most video games don't tell good stories. And especially a lot of the games that are popular, like, so for example, the one that just came out is Halo, right? Halo just got adapted. I can't think of a single first-person shooter that I think would make a good series because every single first-person shooter has the main character killing a bajillion people, right? And being this superhero, right?
No, I've already defeated. What about BioShock?
What about BioShock?
I'm giving you a first-person example of a game that could have a reasonable narrative or story built around it.
True.
And I was going to say Half-Life 2.
I think if you took BioShock and you said, "Hey, we're going to make this into a movie," right? I think a movie would actually be the way you have to adapt BioShock. I don't think a series would.
Yeah, I think they are. I think they're making a series. Spoiler alert.
Really? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll double check that.
I think if you made BioShock, it looks different than the game played, right? If it's good, right? Yeah. Because in the game BioShock, I'm blowing up people, right? And I'm taking out mobs of what are they called in BioShock? Splicers or whatever they are.
Yeah.
BioShock, it's going to be a movie on Netflix, so it's not a series. So, I thought it was a series because of Netflix. But.
Okay, and I think a movie's the way to do it because you don't have to have the main character blowing up a bunch of people in that story, right? If you're telling the story of BioShock, the person has to survive getting from point A to point B, which is the way you tell that story, right? Not that they're this overpowered mutant who can like throw things with their mind or anything, right? But you tell the reason people love BioShock, the gameplay is fun, but that's not the reason everybody remembers BioShock. Right, I'm not going to say
for our listeners. Yeah,
if you don't know, go play BioShock.
Yeah, I would say like...
Or watch the Netflix adaptation, which I'm sure is going to be good.
I mean,
Well,
Netflix definitely either like strikes out or hits home runs.
Yes.
With adaptations. And I think, yeah, definitely go play Bio. Like, for those of you listeners who are listening to this show, not because you like video games, but because you like us, if you have a way to play the original BioShock, I think that probably still holds up pretty
Switch.
well.
Yep.
I
think it's even the remastered version, so...
Yeah, but, like, again, I'm thinking of, like, our longtime listener, number one fan, Jonathan Rink.
Yeah.
I don't know that he has a Nintendo Switch, but I know he has a PC, and I think you can play BioShock in there. So, it's a first-person shooter with a really good story.
Don't hold the minigame against it.
Yeah, we have talked about the minigame. But so, like, talking about... we've talked about a couple of good things, right?
Right. I think... Well, that's the thing, is I think video games struggle to be adapted in general because your protagonist is usually overpowered compared to the rest of the world. Right? Like, you as the video game player have to come in and be like, I can beat all these... Like, even Mario, right? Mario stomps on everybody.
Yes. I think the real problem Brean was getting to, which is that people who are adapting these are doing it, like, when it's bad, it's because they did it the wrong way. And they didn't do what Arcane does, which is, hey, we've got this really big source material. And, like, it sounds like the purpose of this show is probably like, oh, let's get more people interested in more people playing League of Legends by getting them interested in the world of League of Legends by telling a unique story, not necessarily like tied down by the shackles of League of Legends. But like when I look at the bad examples of video game adaptations,
there's a lot. There's a long list.
Oh, there's so many, and they're just like so many, like just
well.
But I think, for my point, I think what it is that it's whoever's making these movies, they're like, well, we want this movie to be popular with video gamers, so
yes,
we're gonna connect it as much as we can to that game, rather than just saying like, no, screw that. This is a source of inspiration. We're gonna take what works for film and leave everything else on the cutting room floor.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Because I think like when you look at like these shitty adaptations, it's when they try to just do too much of what the game's doing. It's like, no, that doesn't work. They're two different mediums. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I think there's the other end of that also, though. Right. You can do that where you try to just like fan service the crap out of it. Right. Yeah. And you can also do it where you just, we're going to attach some big name Hollywood actor to this, make it not related to the game in any way. and
some of that's like, do you have an example of that in mind?
I mean, Uncharted comes to mind for the most recent Uncharted. I haven't seen it. I've heard it's fun, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
So it might not be that bad of an adaptation. But that's the first one that comes to mind. Maybe like Doom with The Rock.
Doom.
Well, what about the Sonic movies? Those have been pretty well received, right?
I saw the first one and it was
entertaining.
Good.
Yeah.
But like, right, you've got Jim Carrey and John, who's the Cyclops? John something.
Oh,
in the first one.
Cyclops.
Yeah.
I don't think his name's John. I think you're making
What's that actor? What's that actor's name? Anyway, that would seem like one where it's like, oh, we're taking this and like, I didn't see it, so I don't know how, but there's not really like a story to Sonic, right? Like,
I mean, there is, but they also, like, I would say that kind of falls out of Brean's model too, right? It's not like they took the world of Sonic and said Green Hill Zone, we're gonna have Sonic running through Green Hill Zone the whole time, right? They
did, but
I mean, for a little bit, but they also
no,
just said, let's make Sonic a likable character, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have
oh man,
what's his name from Parks and Rec voice him.
Jean-Ralphio.
Jean-Ralphio is going to be the voice of Sonic, and they made Sonic a likable character, right?
It's Ben Schwartz, and then it's James Marsden.
James Marsden
in the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm glad that
that one does.
Man, do you guys? I'm sorry. Do you remember the original Sonic? Like when they first showed a trailer for that movie, what he first looked like?
Yes. Oh.
With like the human teeth.
I still don't know that wasn't just some marketing stunt.
Really? You think it was?
I don't know, because I think it's ridiculous like, because from what I hear, they actually paid a bunch of people to to go back and redo that, right? So it feels weird for them to say that they're paying all these people. That would be a very far-fetched lie. But that in itself, I think, made more people go see that movie than would have otherwise.
They changed it.
Sure.
Right? The fact that they built this goodwill by taking this horrendous Sonic model and turning it into a very likable Sonic model and one that everybody's like, yes! I think that built so much goodwill towards the movie.
It's so bad. Guys, it's so, we're getting into conspiracy theory territory talking about this idea that Jordan, I like that as a conspiracy theory, that originally this was their plan all along. Mm-hmm. But, I hope that's true, because it's just so bad.
If it is true, if it is true, they deserve all the money. You know what I mean?
Well played.
Right, right. Good for you for doing that. That's one of those conspiracy theories that if it's true, I'm okay with it, right? And there's nobody to be mad at in that situation. But yeah.
I would be mad at them for manipulating the engine of the internet
that's their job, man.
That's fair. Right, let's talk about real shitty movies. I mean, the first one, right? Super Mario Bros. That's the first video game adapted into a movie. Super Mario Bros.
And I doubt that can't possibly be the first video game adapted into.
It's the first one on the list, 1993.
For live action.
Yeah.
No way.
What comes before that, Jordan? Mario came out in 1988 on the NES, the original Mario.
There are some
Bob Hoskins.
Go ahead.
There are some Japanese
releases from 1986.
Give them to me
for Mario.
For Mario.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought Mario came out. When did the original Mario come out?
1985. Same year I was born.
Oh, 85. Wow.
There is a Japanese live action Mario. And I've never seen it.
No, not live action. Animated.
Oh.
Yeah, I was about to be as excited as you, Jordan. So you've got Bob Hoskins as Mario. You've got John... How do you say his last name?
Leguizamo.
You've got Dennis Hopper as Bowser, right?
You have some... there's a cast there.
That's talent.
That is a solid cast, and every single one of them came into that movie and said, yeah, whatever.
It's so... Yeah, I mean, they phoned it. I don't know. I don't know that there's necessarily, terrible phoned-in performances.
No, I don't think so either, but at what point during making that movie did they all go, guys, this is bad?
Well, I've heard some stories about the making of the movie.
Go on.
Now, before I talk about that, I love this movie, and it's mostly because of the nostalgia.
You're the one.
What?
You're the one.
I'm the one what?
Who loves it?
The one person.
The movie.
Yes. The one person. You're the one. This has a cult following. This is not there are people.
I'm in the cult.
I just read an article the last year or two that they dug up more lost footage for to fill in plot continuity stuff. That and they're splicing in and making these HD versions. It's amazing. And it's a shitty movie. Do not watch this movie.
It's so bad.
So from what I understand, and I'm going to probably get this story completely wrong, but it's something it started with one director, and partway through, that director was like, "No, I can't do this. I'm not gonna work on this anymore." So then somebody else picked it up and had to continue off where that person ended, but had a different vision and started taking things a different direction. And then that director backed out and did something different. And then a third person had to come in and pick it up. And so, nobody had, I think the script got rewritten 3 or 4 times during shooting. So yeah, it was a mess to make.
I would hearing that about a movie. I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. But that movie starts off with like a girl baby being left on like a doorstep, right? Like abandoned in the rain, and then she's like a lizard princess or something. Like I don't know what the starting vision was, like of the director who left. And then the second director comes in and is like, what the hell is this? I gotta get out of here. So there's only 2 directors attributed to this, Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel. And I don't know what happened to them as in their lives, who wronged them. What gamer? Maybe they lost a league game and that made them bitter towards all gamers. So they time traveled back to make this movie to like put a black spot on video game
I'm sure
adaptations.
that's it. I'm sure that's
No, but that sounds like a good or a good screenplay for a movie that we could make.
It sounds like a screenplay.
Oh. I'm reading what happened. It all makes sense now.
Okay.
Several weeks before shooting was to begin, Walt Disney Company purchased the distribution rights to the film and demanded significant rewrites. Morton said that the final result was a script that was not at all like the script that he, Jankel, and the cast had signed on to film.
Can
the tone of
anybody
the new script was not at all compatible with the sets which had already been built.
So can we see the
original script?
Yeah,
Probably
like
not.
right, like because that just sounds like yeah. Sorry guys, like it sucks. It's not my fault. You know, it's this bad guy, Bowser. King Bowser did it.
I mean, I believe it.
Do you remember his
Well,
tongue?
but that's the thing is like the sets that are built in that movie are like really, really campy, right? Like, like I'm picturing that Ba-Bomb scene.
Yeah,
Like,
I am too.
Like everybody's like Ba-Bomb.
I said Ba-Bomb. I mean, that's like
I
they're
love
playing
that
off
scene.
like the thermal detonator. They're playing off the thermal detonator, right? Of like, you know, you pull out this like little, you're like, whoa, I don't know what's this thing. It's like, hey, he's got a thermal detonator. Oh shit! This is Ba-Bomb.
Why did you go full Rocky right there? Like,
I don't get why the Ba-Bomb could walk up the wall. Why did it walked up a wall in the movie?
It did. Has sticky feet.
Right, like I don't have a problem with the de-evolution gun turning King Bowser into a pile of goo. I have a problem with the Ba-Bomb walking up a wall. There's no reason that Ba-Bomb should walk up a wall.
all right,
Ba-Bombs in the game don't walk up walls.
So I think it's hard for us to just talk about the Super Mario movie because the Super Mario movie has a lot of problems. Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot
yes.
wrong with this movie.
Yes.
And the fact that it's based off of a video game really is not the reason it's a bad movie, right?
Correct. Yeah.
But there are other video game I think kind of what Brean was saying earlier, there are other video game movies that just try to take the video game and make it into a movie, right? And those fail phenomenally as well.
Yeah.
Just because the difference between the mediums, right?
Yeah, Double Dragon.
Does the Double Dragon movie follow the plot of Double Dragon?
I've never
I
seen
mean,
that.
I remember loving it as a kid, and I think like it's just sort of right, like the Super Mario Bros. Movies is in my blood as like a sort of nostalgic curse. Double Dragon, I think, was just like, oh, this is cool, but like it's gone, right? Like it was
not in.
Yeah, it was worse than the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Street Fighter.
How did you guys feel about the Resident Evil movies? I know there's a couple of them. I can't remember which
I never
ones I've
saw
seen.
I was going to bring that up because I think those are they're not good movies, but they're just like,
They're kind of their own thing, though, too, aren't
yeah,
they?
they're just like sort of campy, action-y movies.
They
It's
don't
like,
really
yeah.
follow the plot of the games, really, do they?
There's like loose inspirations, connections, that like character names, like
Sure.
character motives.
Okay.
Right?
Because I've not played the games themselves, but I've seen a couple of the movies, so I wasn't sure how it matched up to the game plot.
There's like I think the main character, because the main actress is Mila Jovovich, right?
However you say that.
I think that's how you say it. And her character, I think, is like not even a character in the.
Yeah.
It's been so long. Like I don't know. I just remember like yeah, those are like fine. You know, like hey, let's get a pizza, watch like a crappy action movie. Like, sure, Resident Evil's a good crappy action movie.
Sure.
Mortal Kombat. I mean, if we're going to talk about like video game, I think that's really when like that wasn't great.
I think Mortal Kombat, the original one, that one for me as a kid was so cool.
Yeah.
I loved the original Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
There's good stuff in that.
And like,
but watching it now, I watched it again a few years ago, and it's very...
It's tough.
It's tough now to watch through Mortal Kombat again. But back then, watching Johnny Cage do the splits and punch Goro in the balls was just amazing.
Well, there's like the Sub-Zero fight, right? Where he like kills him by like chucking water through the like freeze sphere. So like there's some cool scenes and stuff. There's
just
some like
action overload.
There's like a successful subplot in that with what's the woman?
Sonya?
Sonya.
Or Katana.
Sonya and the crappy gross dude she kills. Or like
Kano?
beats in a fight. Kano, yeah. It's like that's like there's like a subplot there, right? Like that I think that was really the first time a video game adaptation. I mean, right, there's not many, but it's like, oh hey, we can actually like make, it's not a great example of a movie, but it's like, yeah, it does things a movie does. Like, good job.
And that's a tough one, because I feel like Mortal Kombat's kind of phoning it in a little bit, just for the fact that, like, you watch it for the combat. But that, I mean, it matches the game, so good job. They did a good job. But, like, it doesn't need to do anything other than have good action scenes.
Yeah, some of
them
are.
But it does, like, right, it even sets that up. It's like, hey, there are gods that are going to just destroy the world, and we need champions to defend your realm. Like, that's...
You guys are all talking about things that are irrelevant to why that movie is good, and we all know why that movie is good. Mortal Kombat!
Excellent. We're making progress furthering the world of video game adaptations. Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. The original one with Angelina.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Which is just like, that's the... Right. I mean, like, I know Angelina Jolie now. I assume she was sort of like as big then as she is now, right? Because like now it's like, oh, Angelina Jolie's in a movie. Whoa.
I think that's the only reason that movie made money.
Yes, no, I agree. Where like you're talking about The Rock in Doom. You've got, and that was sort of beginning of his career, but he was in Rampage as well, which was probably also garbage. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I've seen Doom, and like,
talk about a video game that doesn't have any plot whatsoever.
Right.
Rampage. Like,
I honestly feel like Rampage has more plot than Doom.
There's a monkey, a dinosaur, and what's the other one? Like,
yeah, but why are
punching
they out?
Buildings?
What made them huge? Why are they attacking buildings? Why do they fight each other sometimes?
Go ahead with your thought on Doom.
Where do they come from?
Go ahead with your thought on Doom.
Oh, so I'm just saying, if you put like Tomb Raider next to Doom is a terrible movie, and Tomb Raider is an okay movie. And they both have like famous leads. Now, I guess The Rock wasn't really a famous lead at the time.
Yeah. He was just coming out of wrestling. I think that's might be his first film out of wrestling.
Nope.
Well, what was?
He did The Scorpion King while he was still a wrestler. Gosh. And then...
So bad. The movie The Scorpion King.
Yeah.
Correct. Well, he was in The Mummy 2 as the Scorpion King, and then
which was
did
bad.
The Scorpion King, which was all by itself. Then he did a movie called The Rundown with him and Sean William Scott.
He was in a movie with Sean William Scott?
The Rock and Sean William Scott, correct. And what's his name's also in this movie? Hold on. He talks like this. What's his stinking name? Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken? Yeah.
Christopher Walken's a bad guy in The Rundown.
Christopher Walken makes a great bad guy.
Yeah. So
he makes a great good guy.
The Rock, yeah. Doom was a little later. I think Doom came down.
Sure.
But either way, like,
a little bit.
That goes to show, like, it wasn't just the leading actress that made Tomb Raider. I think Tomb Raider also...
yeah. No, yeah.
But, well, I guess it might also have something to do with the fact that they spent $156 million on Tomb Raider and only $55 million on Doom. So, it might have something to do with that too.
And maybe, here's the other thing. Both of those games, Tomb Raider has a plot,
Yes.
right? But it's pretty nonsensical, right? Doom has less of a plot,
Yeah.
right? And so I feel like with both of those, Tomb Raider lends itself towards your idea, Brean, of being able to just build a story with the character in the world, right?
Yeah.
A little easier. And maybe this is the same of Uncharted, right? It's just you need to make an adventure movie, right? And both of those, both Uncharted and Tomb Raider are in that same vein of we're going to make a game out of an action movie, right? Yeah. And so it doesn't surprise me that translates to an action movie better than first-person shooter Doom. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Two other examples of video game adaptations that failed despite having Hollywood rock stars. Prince of Persia, Jake Gyllenhaal, whom I love.
I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I wouldn't call him a Hollywood rock star. I'm sorry. Have I offended you?
What would you call it? I mean, what would you call him then?
He's definitely an A-lister, right?
Yeah.
But I'd say he's on the lower end of A-lister for Jake Gyllenhaal.
What about Michael Fassbender?
Right.
What do you think about Michael Fassbender?
Michael Fassbender is definitely not. I would say Jake Gyllenhaal's higher than Michael Fassbender.
Really? Interesting. Because he was in Assassin's Creed and that was terrible.
Mm-hmm. And what about Hitman?
I don't even what is that?
I think that was Timothy Olyphant. Hitman?
Really? Timothy Olyphant?
I'm pretty sure he was Hitman. I could be wrong.
But he's not bald.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was bald for that movie.
How did he look?
Bald.
Bald. It's like a bald Timothy Olyphant.
I really like Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah,
Oliphant? Oliphant?
This image for the cover of the film?
It doesn't say
weird.
he was in it.
It's weird.
It doesn't? Am I thinking of the wrong person?
No,
oh, wait, maybe I'm looking at the wrong
It's definitely Timothy Olyphant.
When did that release?
2015.
Hitman Agent 47.
Yeah.
That's a later one.
Oh, that's the second one.
Sequel.
That says 2015. Oh, here we go. 2007?
Yeah, it's pretty old, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, the 2015 sequel.
So that must have been kind of early in his career, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was definitely a lot younger then.
Oh, good for him. To break away from a 16% rated.
Yeah, maybe
film.
that's the thing. Maybe here's the thing, is Hollywood sees certain video games, right? And they go, can we make this an action movie? Or can we go over the top with this? And if the answer is no, they're like, we're not doing that, right? And it's a bummer because I feel like there's a lot of adaptation out there that could happen, but it doesn't happen the right way, right? And I think comic books have this problem too. Like if you saw the Venom movie, right? I think the Venom movie,
was fine.
But it's not. The reason it's not is because they tried to stay true to what the comic books did, right? But comics are so fast paced, right? Yeah. Because you have these serial issues that have to stuff has to happen in each issue, right? And so there's no time for any character to actually grow in any way. And so when you stick too true to that medium, it suffers for it. And I think video games often have that same issue when they jump to a different medium.
Yep. So the highest rated movie that we have on here is Detective Pikachu.
Yep.
Which I saw and I enjoyed.
They told a story in
the
world of Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
And it does
built on existing lore and
but I mean Detective Pikachu was a game itself. Detective Pikachu.
I didn't play that, so I don't know.
But did it follow the same plot line?
Yes. Now they made some divergence from it, but it did, by and large, follow the plot of Detective Pikachu.
Interesting.
Okay. You've seen Detective Pikachu, Jordan?
I've seen the movie. Yes.
Okay. We need to talk about this.
Sure.
And like, if you haven't seen the movie and you want to see it, or you haven't played the game, you want to play it.
Click
Spoilers.
pause.
Yep. Spoilers. Skip ahead.
Watch the movie. Come back.
What the hell is that doing as a kid's movie?
Sure.
What?
Like, you get
Why?
to the end, because you get to the end and you find out that it's Mewtwo, right? Is
Yeah.
like psychically implanting humans into Pokemon. And we know that Pokemon have like basically souls, at least personalities and like identities. And then all of a sudden you have like the human consciousness implanted inside of this Pokemon, supplanting the identity or the soul. Is it merged? Does it just like put them in, like, what happens to the Pokemon's identity? What kind of hell are you experiencing when you are like consciously merged with a Pokemon?
Sure.
What happens to that Pokemon's consciousness?
Well, I think you probably
This is like
you blend consciousnesses together. You
That's
don't have to try this one?
horrifying.
Yeah. Well, but this exists in red and blue itself,
Yes, it does.
and gold and silver.
Very, very like subtly, very, very surface levelly.
Sure.
Like, as a kid, I like that did not register with me.
So
at
why
all.
would you think it registers to a kid watching Detective Pikachu?
It's a little more in your face, Jordan. It's a little. It's
There's
literally
no
what the
way.
entire.
Yeah, if you are a kid watching Detective Pikachu, you're like, Mewtwo! He's blowing
just-
crap up!
It just like it was central to the like this movie's plot doesn't exist without this. It's just a bit unsettling. Is all.
Release the DeVito cut.
Man. So there you go. That's my hot take on Detective Pikachu. That it makes me uncomfortable when I
No, I
sit
get that.
back and think, oh, this is what it's actually about.
But I mean, like, that's
but,
kind of
it's
always been a weird thing about Pokemon, is it has this like really dark, creepy underbelly. If you start to like dig into Pokemon
I mean, the whole
lore,
thing is
it
making
starts.
animals fight.
Yeah, exactly, for money.
Yeah. And fame.
Yeah, I mean, right, like I've read, some of the worst like Pokemon descriptions, right, about like, oh, Hypno kidnaps children, and
Yeah.
this other Pokemon also kidnaps children, and this one, you guessed it, kidnaps children.
Drifloom carries away the souls of children at night.
Right, because like I assume a lot of that's based out of like Japanese folklore and mythology and
Yes.
stuff, but also like these things are literally real in your world. So when you like create this world,
Yeah.
but you're drawing from lore, and then you're saying, well, this lore creature is actually real and it eats the souls of
Well,
children. What are you doing?
You bring up two good movies, Billy, and I think we're actually hitting on something that we haven't talked about yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that good video game movies have good CGI, right? You think about Detective Pikachu, that is one of the Pokemon in that game look fantastic, right? And that's part of the reason when you watch that trailer, you're like, whoa, like this looks like they did this justice, right?
Yeah.
Sonic, right? Looks like a good Sonic, right? And then we think back to like Mortal Kombat 2 when Liu Kang turns into a dragon. It's almost like if we're going to do a video game justice, you have to know that the studio making the movie, like, hey, we care about this. We're gonna put in some time to make sure this looks good.
Here's a problem though. Warcraft had good CGI
Sure.
and was a bad movie.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's not saying they're good CGI automatically makes a good movie,
Yes.
right? Just like
yes.
good
That's an
story, right? Yeah, it's an element, right? So
Well, wait, is there an example with bad CGI but good movie?
Good question.
We don't have that on our Punnett Square, do we?
bad CGI but good video game. Blood Rain.
I was going to say Silent Hill. I remember that being creepy.
I never saw it.
It was creepy. It was sad, creepy.
Yeah.
I mean, that sums up Silent Hill, so it sounds like they did a good job.
Yeah, they captured it. The Witcher. We haven't talked about The Witcher.
The Witcher.
I know that's technically adapted from a novel, right? Game adapted to a novel. And I think the show is probably more based on the novel, but popularized by the game. So I think
For
it's
sure.
worth mentioning.
Castlevania.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
And also what, like, this kind of correlates to good CGI, right? Good animation.
Yep.
Fantastic animation. Very dark. Like, so listeners, beware. Castlevania is very much a mature show. Do not show that to your children.
And all right, so I might offend Billy here a little bit.
That's fine.
I think the story in Castlevania is hard at times for me.
Yeah.
Because it very much is like, I mean, if you play the games, it's like, hey, I'm going into this castle and I'm fighting Frankenstein, Death, and Dracula, right? Like,
yeah.
That's the plot of the game,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so they've created this story, and I think the story itself, especially in season 1, I feel like I'm like, this is dragging. Like,
yeah.
Where are we going with this? Like,
I agree.
And so, not to say that it's bad though, right? I think you make it through those couple of slow episodes. Season 2 is really, really good.
I might go back and watch that again, man. That's what an entertaining.
And honestly, season 3 I thought was really good too.
And season 4 was good.
I think season 2 and 3 are my favorites.
I agree. But I watched season 1 and I wrote it off. When it came out, I watched all of season 1 and I was like, no, I'm not going to watch anymore because this was terrible. And then season 2 and 3 came out, and then season 4 came out, and someone was saying like, oh man, I'm so excited season 4 came out. And I was like, you watched that? It was terrible. And they're like, did you watch
Brean's
season
over
2?
here got his nose up.
Yeah. And they asked me like if I watched season 2, and I was like,
you
no.
watched that Drivel?
Yeah, exactly. Me gatekeeping my animated shows now. But yeah, they said like, no, I agree. Like season 1 was terrible because it literally felt like every episode was just revolved around which special weapon he was going to use this time that's in the game. Yeah. And then he did it, and then it's like great.
Too much fan service, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Too much fan service.
But then, yeah, I agree. It's season 2 on. Beautiful. Amazing. I love it.
Yeah, season 1 felt just like a little too much setup, right? It was a lot of action, and then anytime it wasn't action, it was just like getting all the pieces onto the board. And then season 2, it's just like the board explodes.
Yes.
So how much of that do you need, right? How much fan like nods do you need in an adaptation?
No. And like this is maybe why things fail, is like you don't need any of that.
No.
That's like the sprinkles you put on the cake after you frosted it. It's just like, well, I'm going to eat that goddamn cake, whether you put sprinkles on it or not. But you put sprinkles on it, it's like, sure, that's nice. So like, right, the funny like callback lines or like moments, or like in Castlevania, they do I think something that's really fun as a gamer who loves the Castlevania series is a ton of the monsters they fight are character models pulled from like different games.
Sure.
Tons of them. And like it's stuff where it's like I'm probably missing stuff where it's like, oh, I didn't play this game, or I don't remember this enemy, but it's like there are so many. It's really cool.
Yeah.
But like that doesn't need to be there, and I'm still enjoying the show. So like,
sure. And maybe that's why they fail so much, because whoever's making these think I have to satisfy the fan base that's coming in to see them instead of making something that is good.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
There's also a line there too, because I feel like now I've only watched the Uncharted games. I've not actually played them myself.
Sure.
But I feel like the Uncharted movie is very loosely an Uncharted game.
And that's what I would expect.
I feel like you replace the main character with, you change the names, and it's still a fine movie, but I don't.
It's just a generic action movie. Right?
Yeah, I don't necessarily feel like it's Uncharted, other than the fact that they have the same names. So I think there's a line there too where it's like, okay, in some way you need to do some world building that connects it to the actual source material if you're basing the game on it. But yeah, it doesn't need to be a lot.
Yeah, but do you walk away from that Uncharted movie going like, that was a good movie? Like,
No.
You walk away from that going, it was fine, right?
Yeah.
Like, it
Well, right,
wasn't
like-
anything like, and that's the problem with an adaptation like that, is it's a cash grab. It's saying, we're going to slap the name Uncharted on this generic action movie, because Uncharted is a popular video game that people will pay to go see a movie about.
Well,
Right.
and like movies do different things, just like video games do. Like there are movies that are here for entertainment purposes, and then there are movies that are like, oh, this is like telling a story or a message or like moving me emotionally.
Sure.
Or all those things, right? I think generally you'll be entertained by a story that moves you. And so like video game adaptations, like I think generally they should aim for just like that entertainment, right? Like if they aim for that and they don't try to tell this complex, like if I walk out of the room like, oh yeah, I was entertained, like great. I want them to do more. I want them to hit narrative, right? Like I'd be hopeful of, like I think the Witcher series does that well of like, hey, there's some narrative going on here.
If they make a Bioshock
Yes.
adaptation, that would be one I
Yes.
would hope that would hit the right beats, right? But you're right, because I think of the video games movies that I think are good, like Sonic, Detective Pikachu, right? I walk away from those movies going, that was fun.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But nothing really beyond that, right?
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
I also wonder though if it's just like the people making movies being cowards, like to some degree. Like pick something hard. Get Chrono Trigger, great story.
No way.
I would love to see a movie.
No.
You can't do
There's
that.
zero
You can't
chance.
do it.
You can't.
No, I know you couldn't fit that in a movie. It'd have to be a series. You're right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, no,
Six
he's not
seasons of the
wrong. He's not wrong.
Yes, sure.
Because here's the thing. The essence of a JRPG, and I'm gonna get Billy angry here.
It's fine.
If it was done well, it's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah,
Like when I think of Avatar: The Last Airbender,
that's
like,
a JRPG right there.
That is a JRPG in a good show.
Stop it.
He's learning skills.
what's
He's
hila-
leveling up. They're
Yes,
meeting
but
new
what's hilarious-
characters that join his team.
Yep. Like think about how many random plots are in Avatar that are not focused on the main plot. Right?
Okay,
Side
yes.
quests.
So like their form shares identity, I guess, but like you could point to a lot of things that do that, right? Like the freaking Shadow of War games, like Shadow of Mordor, like you level up, you make friends, which are orcs. You get new weapons, you go on side adventures. Like, okay, I can apply that to many things. Also, Avatar: The Last
but
Airbender
Avatar: The Last Airbender. Here's the reason I make that statement. Right, you're talking about like the side quests and all that. Avatar: The Last Airbender is focused on characters, right? And that's what a JRPG also does. Is JRPG focused on characters and putting them in situations where those characters can interact with each other.
yes, like this red dog cyborg man named Red 13.
Why he's not in any way a cyborg?
I don't know where you
Why
added
did
that.
you say cyborg?
Well, isn't he like evolved or something? He's like some
I mean, he's like
No.
Mako
like
infused.
bio. He's like some bio.
He's been
mutant
experimented
magic.
on.
Yeah,
It's a JRPG. I can say whatever I want, and I'm probably right because none of it makes any sense anyway.
it does. Just
Hold
because
on,
it's
real quick, hold
convoluted
on.
doesn't mean it doesn't make sense.
Yes. Sorry. Here, I'll go play 36 hours of a game so I can talk about the origins of this one character.
Please,
All right.
Thank you.
that's all we want.
Here's the deal. Avatar: The Last Airbender has a ton of games that they made for it, and they all suck, which is a shame.
Yeah, but that's going the other way.
Yes, I know.
And
but
they didn't
like,
make a JRPG.
We
I thought that
could
was
we
worth
could
pointing.
spend a long time talking about video game from movie adaptations that are all trash.
Well, let's make that episode. We'll have to focus it.
Okay.
All right. I want to just real quick to kind of close us out here. There's a list of upcoming adaptations.
Are we going to make our predictions?
Yes, I want you to just say, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad?
Okay.
We don't know, there's a lot of them, so we're
Can
just.
you tell me
this is
who's
quick.
going to make it?
Thumb up, thumb down.
No.
Like the movie production
Who's
studio.
making it? Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Well, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is coming out.
I think it's going to be good.
You can say like bad,
sure. Good.
entertaining.
I think it'll be
good.
on the level of the first one, right?
Sure.
Jim Carrey's going to be funny. Tails looks adorable.
No, this is too much. You're going too much.
Okay.
Borderlands is being made by Lionsgate. That's the same people who did the Warcraft movie.
Terrible.
Horrible.
They've got big names. They've got such big names.
Can you tell me some big names?
The one woman.
Uh-huh. Go on.
I can tell you.
Mila Kunis.
Kate Blanchett. Kevin Hart.
I do remember hearing someone interesting.
Who does Kevin Hart play?
I think he's...
Stop. Name a character in Borderlands, Brean.
Well, right.
No one remembers any of the characters in Borderlands.
No, but like
Tina.
I'm saying
Claptrap,
like,
Tina.
if he
The
plays
Phoenix Girl.
a psycho, then yes,
Sure.
I'm in. If Kevin Hart plays a psycho,
I think he might be.
then that might work. But if not,
Jack Black, I'm pretty sure, is Claptrap.
Jack Black.
Jamie Lee Curtis is in it.
That's a lot of good names.
Oh,
Terrible.
I know Haley Bennett.
I'm sticking. Thumbs down. Borderlands is going to be trash. Don't go see it.
unless they like rewrite the plots to be more of a treasure hunter type movie,
Sure.
which is kind of in line with the game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll just go see Uncharted.
Okay. There is an untitled Crossfire film.
Crossfire. The
the-
game where
the
you like.
trigger
That's
game
not a video
where you
game.
shoot things?
I think it is. I think
What?
that's what they're talking about. Crossfire.
That's not a video game.
You get
And
caught
why
up
are we?
in luck.
It's
Why
gonna
are
be
we?
good.
Why are we promoting this here?
It's on a list. Five Nights at Freddy's. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be a bad horror movie. It's gonna do horror wrong. It's gonna do horror.
What do
like
you
the
mean?
Games.
It's that one's going to be full of fan service.
That's
It's
true.
gonna be totally fan service. It's gonna be jump scares. It's gonna be like it's
You think-
not that
you think
deep
jump scares-
existential horror.
You think jump scares are the wrong way to do horror?
I think that horror is better when you don't see the monster, right? Like if you like to sum it up, good horror is like The Babadook, which you do see
I
at some
haven't
point,
seen
but like Jordan, that's a good horror movie. Or The Others is another good. I mean, that's less horror and more just like
The Others? Come on.
I mean, what's
2 thumbs down. With the one with Nicole Kidman?
yeah, that's a good movie.
No.
Okay.
Here's the
That's
problem. Here's the problem with The Others. Okay, I'm going to tell you.
We don't have time for
we
this.
do have time
This is
for this.
another episode.
We have plenty of time for The Others discussion.
I'm cutting this
The
out.
reason-
Just so you know.
The reason that movie is bad is
Paranormal Activity is the one
Paranormal Activity is another
that
good
I
one.
go to for like good horror
Haven't seen it.
where you don't see the thing.
That is like. Have you seen that, Jordan?
In fairness, I don't like horror movies. So,
Sure. Okay.
Jaws, I think, is great.
No, we're moving on. This is
Jaws
taking
is the
hours.
same thing.
This
Jaws
is taking hours.
Jaws is the same thing.
Yeah, it is a good horror.
You don't see the shark.
Yes, Jaws is really good.
Thank
I'm
you.
not saying it's bad.
That's all I wanted.
Gears of War.
Oh,
Move.
2 thumbs way friggin' down.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be any good. It's made by Universal. It looks like.
Ghost of Tsushima. It'll be fine.
I think that'll be okay.
Fine.
Oh,
Or
I
bad.
remember
It'll be
this
fine or bad. It'll be fine or bad.
Okay.
It'll be good or bad. It'll be one of those.
It'll be like it'll be on that line of like it was bad, but I was
feel like-
entertained at points. I'm like, yeah, fine.
Yeah,
Like,
and I feel like Ghost of Tsushima is already like it's a samurai movie made into a video game,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
So,
And then turned
Just
back into
Cause.
a movie.
just atrocious.
That's gonna be good.
Just atrocious.
Because they're gonna do what they did with like League of Legends, where it's like we have this world, and it's gonna be fun.
We have this world with
Nicole's gonna be excited about this.
no.
The untitled Just Dance film.
None
Look
of
it
these things
Yeah.
you're reading to me, they're not coming out. They will not ever make it to air.
You
These
think
do
they'll just
say
like die in production?
They will die in
TBA.
production.
Yeah, this is all TBA. But this is great.
None of these are happening.
Minecraft.
That'll happen. But let's see, Warner Brothers.
Depends on who makes that. That could be
Warner Bros.
That could be good, but it depends on who makes that.
The reason I would say there's possibility for it to do good is that they've already done like media stuff, so they've already probably got a team around, like creating.
They've got a plan.
Plots and so forth in that world.
That's a big enough and like valuable enough IP that they're not going to totally beef it.
Yeah.
An untitled Metal Gear Solid movie
by Sony. If it was anyone but Sony.
I know Sony's so unreliable when it comes to their movies. They made Venom, so that's what like I'm like.
And Morbius, which I just see tons of hate pouring out for.
Yeah, it's hard.
You want it to be.
I want that to be good.
It's gonna suck.
Yeah,
I
agree. So I want it to be good as well, but.
Mortal Kombat 2. That'll probably just be like the first.
Yeah,
I didn't see the most recent one. I didn't see the most recent one. I heard it was fun though.
I heard it was fun. An untitled Portal film by Warner Bros.
I hope that is true, and I hope that is good.
Nope.
Here's the problem.
Here's the problem. You can say it.
We both have the same thing. Because we are on the same. Portal and Portal 2 are perfect. And so anything that they put to film is just it's not gonna fall short.
And I would add to that, like the second you hear Gladys and it's not the same voice actor.
Maybe they will get the same.
Maybe they will.
I mean, but I agree. If they don't, like, then they're fools. They should never make it.
Exactly.
But this is what if they get the same one, awesome. But it'll be between. Do we get the same one, or do we get this really big name actress?
Yeah, who will bring in people like non-gamers. Yeah. I would be interesting. Do they tell the story of Portal 2 in that? Because Portal 1 is like, there's not a ton of story, right? You know?
Yeah, maybe it's a combo.
But maybe it's like a little bit of one merged directly into 2.
What I would hope is that it sets up a Half-Life movie.
Black Mesa.
Sure, because that takes place in the same
worlds. Right? Things are going on at the same time, and there's a little bit of crossover. And some stuff.
Wait, no, we haven't thought about this right. We haven't thought about this correctly. That movie is 2 thumbs up if they get J.K. Simmons. If they get J.K. Simmons to be Cave Johnson, I will be very excited.
Yes, sure, that'd be excellent. The rest of them are all going to be bad, and they're not worth even talking about.
Well, you've left off a couple. You've got
Rabbids.
No,
bad.
I mean,
Sonic 3.
I mean, so little for that.
If they're kids' movies, though, right? Like Rabbids and Sonic 3, I think have potential to be fine.
Yeah, I mean, Sonic will be fine.
It depends on who you're targeting, right? If it's a kids' movie, I think the bar is a little lower.
Listen, these last ones, I want thumbs up or thumbs down.
Okay.
Follow the rules.
Okay.
Space Invaders.
Now listen. Space Invaders, just garbage.
Tomb Raider Obsidian.
Is this the same?
I don't know, Jordan.
Thumbs up.
I'm giving
Saints
it
Row.
Saints Row, just cause.
Yakuza will be good. Yakuza will be good.
So I don't think so.
Yakuza is a mafia movie made into a video game.
That's so funny.
That's all I got.
There's
That's
now
all you
movies
got.
Getting turned into video games, getting turned back into movies.
Billy has egregiously left off the Mario movie with
Not on this list.
with Chris Pratt.
It's not on this list.
Well, we need to add it right now.
It's not. You're looking at the live action list.
The Mario movie. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I don't care.
He's so cool. Chris Pratt is so cool.
Really?
That's the line that they gave in the announcement. Like in the Nintendo Direct, they're like, Chris Pratt is going to be playing Mario. He's so cool.
Oh my gosh, guys! Beyond Good and Evil is getting a movie.
I didn't know that. I've never played Beyond Good and Evil, so I can't.
Oh, is one of my all-time favorite games. It's probably like my number one pick for like hidden gem game that like people don't know about or haven't.
But also the sequel to that is supposed to have been coming out for like 7 years now.
Right. Yeah. Which I'm pissed about, but like, just make a movie for me. That's all. Yeah. Great. Great. I don't have to play a game now. Just make me a movie.
You can be mad at me, Brean, but I've started Beyond Good and Evil twice and have finished it neither times.
Yeah.
The other one you left off is the HBO adaptation of The Last of Us.
Sure, I did want to bring that up,
and I think it's gonna be good.
Well, because you desperately want it.
No, regardless, I think HBO has a track record of making good shows.
It'll be good, and then they'll totally beef the last.
That's fine. I
season.
think you're probably right. I think eventually, like, if they let the show run too long, it'll run too long. But they have Neil Druckmann's involved with it, right? He made The Last of Us. He's involved with the production. They're not going to do something that's egregiously bad.
I adore Pedro Pascal, and he's Joel.
I've never seen him in anything.
You didn't watch The Mandalorian?
Nope.
You haven't watched Game of Thrones?
I watched like the first 2 or 3 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Oh, he comes in around 3.
Who does he play? Because I've read most of the books.
He plays the guy that the mountain crushes his skull.
The Viper.
The Viper.
I can't remember what his actual name is, but yeah. Interesting.
Pedro Pascal's in something else. I don't remember.
I think he's in a Netflix show. I think he's on a Netflix show.
That could be.
Narcos? I could be wrong.
But we've gone on too long about this. Our listeners are asleep.
No, they're not.
Leaving.
They're so in.
No, they're gone.
No,
Jonathan Rink.
Jonathan Rink. Check out the Last of Us TV show. I bet it's going to be good.
Also, just found out, and I'm super excited that Netflix has a Mega Man movie in the works.
Yeah.
Written by the same guy who wrote the most recent Batman.
Like the Batman?
Yeah. The Batman.
Well, that was like average, wasn't it?
I thought it was good.
I thought it was
like entertaining.
And I think done in a style that would also fit Mega Man.
I'm Mega Man. This is another episode. We're not talking about video game adaptations.
I have a different Christopher Nolan ranking than most people. I still like Batman Begins more than The Dark Knight, actually.
Right. Well, which Batman video game is the best? On
Arkham
3.
Asylum.
1, 2, 3.
Arkham Asylum.
Batman Returns. Bye, Billy.
Batman Returns?
Yeah, the NES game?
It's SNES, right?
No, there's an NES
No,
Batman
it was the
Returns.
NES.
There's an NES Batman Returns?
Best
no, there is not.
Ever.
Yeah. Yes, it's fantastic. I played it at my grandma's house growing up. I love it.
NES? No, you guys are...
Yes,
Yeah.
the original Nintendo. There is a Batman game. Find an emulator. Play it. It's good.
I'm not denying there's a Batman game. It's not Batman Returns.
This is the one. It's just called Batman. Here you go.
Yeah,
That's
you're
fine.
thinking of the NES, just Batman.
Yes.
Right?
There you go.
In
This is the one.
1989, yes, Michael Keaton. Yes, that's fine.
Oh my gosh, the music in this is so good.
It's tough. It's a hard game.
Oh, it's super hard.
Yeah. I might go back and try and beat it now that I'm not 6.
Arkham Asylum is still the best Batman game.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I think all of you can agree my hair was on point today. Look at this. Look at this single strand. Look at that. Look at that.
Thanks for watching or listening. If you want to talk to us, feel free to leave a comment, or you can tweet at us at 3playcast. As a brand new podcast and podcasters, we really appreciate any feedback. Talk to you next week.
My hair's on point too, Jordan. Hey guys. Now that the podcast is over, do you want to play some League?
Dude, yeah. I'm so close to getting silver 2.
Freaking Brean looks like Cousin It.
Cousin It is here.
Cousin It's an avid gamer.
Good. Guys, I'm gonna be silver this.
If you
season.
aren't watching this on YouTube, now is the time.